Sophie Hanger and I'll be today carrying out a presentation on human nutrition in the digestive system. In this presentation, I'll be discussing the structure and functions of the digestive system. I'll be explaining the processes of mechanical and chemical digestion, including the optimum conditions for the enzymes involved, and lastly, the constituent food groups that all come together to help form a balanced diet. The two main functions of the digestive system are digestion and absorption. This happens when food is broken down until the molecules are small enough to be absorbed into the body, which can then be used for energy, growth, cell repair and metabolism, whilst also eliminating any waste products. Our system has the digestive tract, which is a continuous tube with two openings. This starts at the mouth and ends with the anus, and this can also be referred to as the alimentary canal. Digestion starts in the mouth with the use of the process mechanical digestion, which commences with the breakdown of food when you chew with your teeth. Through a process known as mastication, saliva combines with the food to produce a bolus. Saliva is produced from the 3 pairs of salivary glands that are found in the mouth and contains special enzymes which helps to digest the starches in food. Saliva helps to keep the mouth moist, making it easier to swallow the bolus down the esophagus. Before food reaches the esophagus, it enters the pharynx. The pharynx receives the bolus where the muscular wall contracts to push the bolus over the epiglottis, which is closed off to protect the entrance to the larynx to prevent choking. The upper esophageal sphincter then begins to relax as the bolus approaches to allow it to enter the esophagus. The esophagus extends from the pharynx through to the stomach and is about 25 centimetres in length. Transportation of liquids and semi-solids down the esophagus is assisted by gravity, whereas solids is moved downwards by peristalsis. Next is the liver, which produces a yellow-green fluid called bile. Bile contains water, salts and cholesterol, which aids in breaking down fats. When bile has been produced, this exits the liver through the bile ducts and either travels to the gallbladder for storage or to the small intestine to be used. The gallbladder is a small, pear-shaped organ situated just underneath the liver, which stores bile, helping it to absorb and digest fats. The stomach is a hollow-shaped organ which holds food while it is being mixed with stomach enzymes. Its muscular coat churns the bolus and mixes it with gastric juices to make food particles smaller and more soluble to produce a fluid called chyme. The gastric juices produced by the stomach contain water, hydrochloric acid, mineral salts, enzyme and intrinsic factor, which all aid with the absorption of vitamin B. The digestion of a meal normally takes around 2 to 4 hours until it is then passed on to the small intestine. The small intestine is around 6 to 7 metres in length and is the site of where the majority of digestion and absorption takes place. It is divided into 3 parts known as the duodenum, the jejunum and the ileum. The chyme produced by the bile from the gallbladder becomes alkaline in the duodenum before being moved along by peristalsis mixed with pancreatic and intestinal juices until digestion is complete, with the end product being absorbed through the walls of the villi whilst the residue moves into the large intestine. The large intestine is about 1.5 metres in length, which is smaller than the small intestine, however it is substantially thicker. It holds the main role of absorbing vitamins, converting foods into faeces, as well as removing water from faeces. The chyme enters the large intestine and mixes it with good bacteria. The large intestine consists of 4 sections: the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon and the sigmoid colon. The ascending colon is responsible for the removal of water and nutrients before it moves along the transverse colon to the descending colon, which stores faeces which will eventually be emptied by the rectum. And the sigmoid colon, which consists of a muscular wall which contracts to increase the pressure for the stool to move into the rectum. The rectum acts as a temporary storage for faeces and is located near the end of the digestive system. And the final part of the digestive system is the anal canal, which is the final part where faeces are excreted from the digestive tract and away from the body. Our bodies are able to absorb large molecules, but unable to use them, so these have to be broken down into smaller units, which happens through combined processes of mechanical and chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion commences in the mouth, where teeth and saliva break down the food into smaller digestible particles through the process of mastication. Food is swallowed and travels to the stomach, where it is liquefied with the uses of gastric juices and stomach muscles contracting, churning it into chyme, to be moved into the duodenum of the small intestine, where absorption happens, and also peristalsis. Peristalsis is when the smooth muscles rhythmically contract and relax to aid with the movement of food through the digestive tract. Chemical digestion also starts in the mouth, where it releases enzymes and saliva. The production of saliva is triggered by the brain, which stimulates our saliva to release enzymes and enables food to be moisturised, making it easier to swallow. The digestive enzyme called amylase is found in saliva and breaks down starch in the mouth, changing it into glucose, which can also be referred to as sugar. The enzyme assists in absorption, acting as a catalyst by speeding up the process of the digestive system. Once food is swallowed, muscles in the tongue and in the mouth push food into the pharynx and the epiglottis. As food goes through the digestive tract, smoother muscles begin to contract so food can be moved along while still being broken down into smaller components through peristalsis. Enzymes are specialised protein molecules and are a fundamental part within our digestive system, with their ability to break down molecules and aid with digestion. Enzymes obtain an area called an active site, and these areas have their own unique shape where the enzyme will work on a substance called the substrate where the reaction takes place. After this has been completed, the products will leave to be transported, used or stored so that another molecule can use the enzyme to start the process once again. Enzymes work best in an environment of 37 degrees Celsius, which is the normal temperature of the human body. If temperature increases, it will lead enzymes to break down, and if the temperature decreases, the enzymes will function too slowly. Enzymes are sensitive to pH levels, which measure acidity and alkalinity on a scale of 1 to 14, and these must stay at around 7 for enzymes to function well. If this falls below 7, it becomes acidic, and if it goes above 7, it becomes alkali. Looking at the table on this slide, there are two examples of enzymes called pepsin and lactase. Pepsin is secreted from the gastric glands in the stomach, creating small proteins called peptides, which are created when the hydrochloric acid and gastric juices are mixed, which was discovered by Theodor Schwann in 1836. The pH level where pepsin works best ranges from 1.5 to 1.6. Lactase is produced in the lining of the small intestine where it breaks down lactose into sugars known as glucose and galactose for absorption. The lactase enzyme is best worked at an optimum pH level of 6. For living beings to grow and have a long life, they must lead an active lifestyle and maintain a balanced diet. The constituent food groups of a balanced diet consist of carbohydrates, proteins, fat, vitamins, minerals and water. The National Food Guide, which was introduced by the government with recommendations on how to provide a healthy diet, as seen in the pie chart on this slide, it is recommended that they have 55% carbohydrates, 15% protein, 20% unsaturated fats and 10% saturated fats. These recommendations can also be seen in the Eat Well Guide, which was also introduced by the government. These recommendations are for adults and children over the age of 5 to have a balanced diet following the food groups as shown in the table on this slide. Group 1 is meat, fish and alternatives, which provide protein, fibre and vitamin B12. Group 2 is bread, potatoes, pasta and cereals, which gives carbohydrate, starch and energy, and this group is the main source of a range of nutrients within our diet. Group 3 is fruit and vegetables, which is recommended to be consumed 5 times a day, providing us with vitamins, minerals and fibre. Group 4 is dairy and alternatives, which provide calcium, which is essential for strong teeth and bones, as well as vitamins, minerals and protein. And group 5 is oils, fats and sugars, which is mainly unhealthy sugars and fats, which can cause future health problems such as diabetes and heart disease, so these should only be eaten in smaller quantities within our diet. It is recommended that we drink 6 to 8 glasses of water each day, as it aids with preventing dehydration, replaces the fluid that our bodies have lost through sweat, urine and breathing, as well as water assists with the transportation of nutrients around the body. To summarise this presentation, we've discussed the digestive system, the process of mechanical and chemical digestion, and the importance in having a balanced, healthy diet. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.